Next on Worcester News Tonight, Central Massachusetts has some interesting ties to the Revolutionary War, how one of those towns is celebrating Independence Day. Plus, a troubling discovery near railroad tracks in Worcester. Police are investigating after someone abandoned twin 9-month-old babies. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. Now to our top story tonight. Worcester police called to a popular city restaurant this evening for a reported stabbing. Police do have a man in custody surrounding him in the parking lot of O'Connor's restaurant on West Boylston Street. Police say he stabbed a woman inside the restaurant and her injuries are described as serious. A man who tried to help the victim was also injured. Police say they did have to subdue the attacker before making the arrest. Developing news in Worcester tonight, police are investigating the discovery of 2 babies abandoned near train tracks. The twin 9-month-olds appear to be okay. Railroad employees found the babies in the area of Cambridge Street and Kansas Street. Rosalind Flaherty has the story.
I've met the babies 2 or 3 times and I just can't believe something like that could happen.
Carl Wooden says he was with twin 9-month-old babies hours before Worcester police say they were found abandoned near these railroad tracks.
It's traumatizing to me.
Police say they received a call around 12:15 Wednesday morning for a welfare check at a Cambridge Street address. They say railroad employees found the babies near Kansas Street and called 911. Wooden says he knows the mom and was with her and the babies watching fireworks. He left her around 11 p.m. Tuesday night because he says she was belligerent and he wanted to distance himself.
Wish I didn't now, knowing the circumstances.
He didn't know the babies were abandoned until later Wednesday morning. He says the mom, who is not from Worcester, was in a recovery program down the street.
She must have passed out or something and woke up and didn't, because she's not from the area, and woke up and didn't know where she was. But she knew that she had the kids. I don't get it.
Police say the babies appear to be unharmed and are in DCF custody. Wooden says he doesn't know where the woman is, but is happy the babies will be all right.
I just wish you could tell time, to see the future.
Police say the babies have been identified. Police have not confirmed whether the twins were with their mother last night. There is still no official word as to who left those babies there. In Worcester, Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
The Cannabis Control Commission releasing a draft of new regulations this week. The draft comes after months of hearings. For medical marijuana patients, it would eliminate the current $50 annual fee. For recreational customers, the proposed regulations would allow for social consumption sites and delivery of non-medical marijuana. Important to note, all cities and towns would first need to opt in to allow social consumption in their community, if the new license type is ultimately approved in the final regulations.
The takeaway here is that this is still a process. This is an ongoing process. The regulations are, in fact, a draft set of regulations, which means that they are subject to change if the commission has a discussion in September and feels as though something needs to be changed, and that we really are looking to get input from the public.
The CCC plans to hold public hearings on the draft regulations in August and will take public input through August 16th. 4th of July in Rutland has transformed into a 4-day festival of fireworks, barbecues, and a parade. But when the United States was fighting for its independence more than 240 years ago, Rutland, as well as other central Massachusetts towns, had a role in the country's eventual victory. Our Cam Jandro is live in Rutland tonight with those details. Cam?
Anna, tonight is day 3 of that 4-day festival. The fireworks just wrapped up. You can actually still smell them and see the smoke in the air. But behind all of the festivities, Rutland has some really interesting and unique ties directly to the Revolutionary War. Rutland's 4th of July celebration is one of the town's biggest annual events. But the geographical center of Massachusetts has some unique ties to the Revolutionary War.
We just honored one of our first settlers, Moses Howe, whose son fought in the Revolution here and is buried here in town as well. Our town seal is a dedication to General Rufus Putnam, who was a general in the Revolutionary War.
In 1777, Rutland had numerous prison camps. They were used for captured Hessian mercenaries and other prisoners of war. The history and culture is what makes the 4th of July special for those who help organize the town's celebration.
I would never live anywhere else because, you know, it's just such a great town.
If you ask people what their favorite holiday is, a lot of people here
Rutland
today would say that it's the 4th of July over any other holiday in the year.
Yeah.
But Rutland isn't alone in their connections to the war. Prominent patriot John Hancock presented this monument to the town of Holden, where it still sits in front of Town Hall. Across the street from the Worcester Memorial Auditorium is a monument recognizing General George Knox and how he passed through the city to bring George Washington a train of artillery. They are symbols of service and sacrifice for freedom.
So any way that we can honor those who fought for our independence here on Independence Day, and we're going to do it and make sure that they get honored properly too.
Now, the town has been having this celebration for about 70 years now. They'll wrap things up tomorrow with their annual parade. Anna?
Cam, how's the fireworks show going out there? Seems like there's a big crowd.
Anna, the crowd was huge. We actually pulled into the fire department, and their fireworks were so close. They were so loud, too, but another great show here in Rutland this year.
Awesome. Thanks for that report, Cam. Tonight, friends are remembering the Brockton mayor, Bill Carpenter, who has died. The 62-year-old was found dead this morning. Carpenter was elected mayor in 2013, and just last month, he pulled nomination papers for re-election and was looking forward to another run. Worcester Mayor Joseph Petty took to Twitter to share his condolences, describing him as a tireless advocate for his city. Petty says, "I'm truly saddened by the passing of Mayor Bill Carpenter of Brockton. Bill and I have worked together for some time on education funding equity for gateway cities like ours, and I'll always admire his understanding of the issues." Petty also asks for everyone to keep Mayor Carpenter's wife and 6 children, as well as the entire city of Brockton, in their thoughts and prayers. Tonight, friends are remembering the 18-year-old shot and killed. They say he was an inspired music artist with a good heart. Some neighbors say they heard the gunshots and ran outside to help. Our Chandler Walsh has the details.
A quiet scene on Gage Street Wednesday morning. Worcester police say this is where an 18-year-old man was shot minutes after Worcester's Independence Day celebration ended. The teen died from his injuries.
He was funny, always made jokes, always liked to have fun, never see him sad.
A friend who didn't want to go on camera was emotional, describing the victim as a good kid. He says they were coming back from the fireworks show when he was shot.
I just heard the shots. I just saw him on the floor. I called the police. I tried talking to him.
A young man was being carted away and by the EMTs, and they were performing CPR with him.
Stephen Dorado was working in his office a couple houses away. He says he heard 4 loud gunshots, followed by 2 more.
This entire neighborhood transformed over into ground zero. It was just overwhelming, very emotional. At that point, I came out, and I was part of the crowd.
The street was filled with people watching the fireworks from the street or heading home from the celebration.
There were kids here. There were babies here in strollers as well. This was very, very sad and very frightening.
Dorado says it's a shame to see a young life taken and something parents should never have to go through.
This is a youth that had everything ahead of him in his life. There were a number of parents that I saw hugging their kids, knowing exactly what they're feeling at that moment.
Witnesses are calling this a senseless tragedy. Police haven't given a motive and are continuing to investigate. Anyone with information can send an anonymous text to the Worcester Police tip line. In Worcester, Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
Not far away and a little later in the night, police say a 19-year-old was shot after a fight with another man on Shrewsbury Street. The victim suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Police are not saying if the 2 scenes are connected. Customers at a Worcester brewery tonight had the chance to not only drink their favorite beer, but also burn it off. Customers signed up to take a kickboxing class at Redemption Rock Brewing Company. It's part of the brewery's new Fitness Wednesday schedule. The founders see the tap room as a community space and say variety is something they embrace.
Having a certain fitness class just made sense. It's a cool way to get more people into here and to have people hang out and do something a little special, besides, having some beer.
The classes will be held every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. They'll do an activity for 4 weeks, then switch it up.